We now move into our fourth appearance, the interview. Number 1 for interview, Miss Tokelau.
Maloni, Miss Tokelau.
Maloni.
Before we ask you your question, why don't you tell the audience tonight how you've enjoyed American Samoa since you've arrived?
Thank you. Since being here in American Samoa has been a great experience. The girls are not competitive. It's like we came to make the friendship, learn the new cultures, and just loving the hospitality of everyone here. And this whole experience has been awesome, and it's something great that I want to take back to my people. Thank you.
So if you would pick a question, this is the official question. Well, they really folded this well.
You need help?
I think I might. Is this glued together or? You want to try? You make it look so easy. And now I'm going to show my age. Can you please? Here's our question for you. Non-communicable diseases can be a major health problem in the Pacific Islands. If you are crowned Miss South Pacific tonight, what would you do to help combat some of these health issues?
Thank you for that question. Well, non-communicable disease is really big here in our Pacific nation, and we as a nation should have a look at what the issues and how we can solve that problem. For example, overweight is a big issue here in our Pacific nations, and that's one of the huge problems that we should look at by solving. And if we look at ourselves, I'm pretty sure that the Pacific nations is top with that kind of disease, and we have to look serious into it by solving those kind of problems. Thank you for that question.
Thank you, Ms. Tokelau. I think she was talking about me. Thank you.
I think me too. Okay, please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome contestant number 2 for her interview, Miss Fiji.
Misambula Vinaka, Miss Fiji.
Misambula Vinaka.
Before you answer your official question, how are you enjoying American Samoa so far?
The time I've spent in American Samoa has been surreal. Everyone's been so warm and hospitable, and the time I've spent with the girls has been amazing. And being in the Miss South Pacific, it's been a totally new experience. It's being a young woman with a platform that's bigger than, your peer group, that's bigger than your country, that's broadcasted across the region, and thanks to blue sky across the world via the internet. And not every young woman gets that. So I am extremely privileged, and my time in American Samoa has been definitely memorable. Vinaka.
Vinaka, now your official question. I'll let you open it for me. This is our question for you. Technology changes every day, and young Pacific people are turning to it more and more. What do you think are some of the pitfalls of technology, and why?
Vinaka. Lucky enough, I got asked a similar question for my pre-pageant interview. Technology definitely has become a big part of our lives. Like I said in my interview, a lot of people claim that my generation is growing up online with the internet, growing up watching television, the radio, and it's affected our lives, it's affected our culture. But culture isn't static. It doesn't change, and technology is now a part of our culture. It's a part of our cultural identity. Yet there are some pitfalls. First off, again, like I mentioned in my pre-pageant interview, I have an 11-year-old brother that's on Facebook when I know that the Facebook age restriction is 13. So that's just one example of how unrestrained the internet is. Your child has access to anything and is exposed to anything, and that changes their values. It changes the things they think are okay to do in life. So that's one major pitfall. Another one is, in relation to social network as well, we've lost our personal interaction skills. We're used to chatting to each other and sending texts, and you don't take the time. You don't take the time to stop someone on the street and have a decent conversation because you've texted them about every single thing you've done for the past hour. So it's slightly taking away our humanity, technology is. So in my opinion, those are two of the major pitfalls. But in respect to the question, I'd like to acknowledge I'm slightly biased because I'm young, but technology is definitely a good thing as well. Vinaka.
Vinaka Vakalevu, Miss Fiji.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome contestant number 3 for her interview, Miss Cook Islands.
Kia ora, Miss Cook Islands.
Kia ora.
Before I ask you your official question, why don't you tell everyone here how you've been, or if you've been enjoying yourself since you've arrived here in American Samoa?
That is a really easy question. I wish that was my actual question. I've had so much fun since I got here. I was like a child in a candy store when we touched down in Apia. I've never been there before. I was just looking out my window going, what can I see, what can I see? And when we landed here, it was the same thing. I just couldn't wait to actually get here and to meet my beautiful sisters of the Pacific. We've had so much fun together, so many adventures. We've been able to meet the people who have made this pageant possible, not only the committee, but also our sponsors. And I think I had a one too many Big Macs, but overall, it's been an amazing experience, and I will cherish these memories for the rest of my life. Meitaki.
Here's your question. Education is the single most influential factor for making change. Name one area where better education could make a difference, and how.
Meitaki. I believe that overall, education anywhere will make a great difference. But firstly, I believe education needs to start in our homes. We need to be teaching our children our culture and traditions, and also encouraging them that the impossible is possible. Dreams are true. They must and strive for excellence in themselves. For you see, education is knowledge, and knowledge is understanding. Understanding is wisdom. Meitaki mata.
Miss
Number 4 for her interview, Miss Hawaiian.
O lo e mai mo mai le ala te lua e winatu ona tau tua lau fale televisi o le KBC KTV Pango Pango, American Samoa. You're watching Channel 2, brought to you as a public service of KBCK-TV, Pango Pango, American Samoa.
Experiences that we shared with my pageant sisters, they've made this so enjoyable, and we couldn't have done it without our sponsors, McDonald's, Blue Sky. We're so grateful for all that you guys done and for your generosity. They've been very patient with us. We get so excited and we forget to listen, but they've been so patient, so we're so thankful for them. My chaperone's like, eat, and I'm like, oh my God, my clothes are not gonna fit. So in this dress, I'm holding my breath and I'm like, oh, I cannot breathe. But it's so good to be back here, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
Thank you. You can pick your question now. Okay. She knows already. She's been... Thank you, Julie. This is the question. Religion is one of the foundation pillars of our Pacific society. As a young Pacific woman, what is the role of religion in your life and why?
Thank you for that question. Before I came out here, I said, God, whatever your plan is, use me. Speak through me. This is a perfect time, and I feel like God's answering my prayers. I grew up Christian. Later in life, my family converted to LDS. So I grew up in the LDS church, and I now attend a Christian church, Word of Life Christian church. And in my life, it's played a big role. It's given me confidence. I can stand before you today, just so thankful. And none of this would be possible without God. You know, it's through Him and by Him and because of Him I am here, that I can stand before you as a strong young woman and be a role model to younger generations, even to my younger cousins, to my siblings. I stand as a strong Christian woman, as a God-fearing woman, and I think I'm so grateful for His grace, for His love for me, because it allows me to be myself and not judge others and to love others. The love that He has for me is the same love that I show to others. So I'm grateful for the gospel and the truth that I have in my life. So that's the role it's played in my life. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui loa, Miss Hawaiian Islands.
Please welcome Miss Tonga.
Okay, this is our question for you. Politics is often regarded as a male-dominated domain. What would you do to encourage more women to enter the political arena?
You know, we're in a day and age now where women are beginning to step up to the platform to take lead roles in many different areas in life. And maybe I've recognized in the Western world that many women are stepping up to the platform in the sense of politics. In the South Pacific, I don't see it as much, but I guess the one thing that what I could do to help encourage women to step up to the platform is, you know, with politics, it's something that's so advanced. I think firstly you would have to come back to being educated and going out and being able to learn as much as you can. And when I say that, I don't just mean going out and getting a degree. You know, our education, especially as Polynesians, we all know that it goes a lot deeper than that. It's about learning from those that are older than us, and it's about bringing all that we know and all that we live, our culture, our traditions, combined with our politics, the way that our governments are run. And if women can step up to the platform and combine all of that, we would just take the lead. Sorry, men, but we would. And I would encourage women, if I had the roles in the South Pacific, or even if I don't, you know, I still do. Women these days have so much power, and I think we tend to forget that. Sorry.
Malo Pito, Miss Tonga.
Please welcome contestant number 6 for her interview, Miss Papua New Guinea.
You know, during rehearsals, I asked Miss Papua New Guinea, what is your greeting word? How do you say hello in Papua New Guinea? And she said, hello. But, you know, Papua New Guinea, she educated me, has hundreds of different dialects and languages. But how would you greet the audience tonight?
Harawaina mana, everyone.
Don't ask me to repeat that. Tell me, how have you enjoyed yourself since you've arrived in American Samoa?
My experience here in American Samoa has been amazing. The people are warm and welcoming, and tonight is a perfect example of that. Thank you all for your hospitality and the friendships I have formed with my 9 Pacific Queens. I couldn't have been more privileged to share this experience with these beautiful women. Thank you.
You should keep it on, Fang Fang Ah.
Thank you. This is our question for you, Miss Papua New Guinea. We live in a region with such diverse cultures and languages that are thousands of years old. As a contestant, what are 2 things that you have done this week to teach some other contestants about your culture?
Thank you for that question. It's interesting because my presentation was on culture. 2 things I have done this week to share my culture with my fellow contestants are, firstly, the designs on my dresses. I pride myself in that because globalization and modernization is inevitable. Change occurs. Evolution, or culture is an evolution. The dress I'm wearing today showcases my culture, my tattoos embodied on my clothes. This is one way that I share my culture with my fellow contestants. What each design means, what each tattoo means, what each clay pot resembles. It showcases my past, my ancestors' past. That is one way that I share my culture with my fellow contestants. The second is sharing your language, because language is what defines, what gives us the Pacific identity, and it is something that I pride myself in. As I've said in my presentation, in Papua New Guinea we have over 800 languages, and we have pride in that. Sadly, because of globalization, we've become a predominantly English-speaking nation, and we're losing several of our languages. So it is important that we teach each other, that we record this, that we pass it on from the generation to the next generation to the next. That is one way that I believe we can preserve our culture, by sharing that experience as Pacifica. Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Papua New Guinea, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome contestant number 7 for her interview, Miss Aotearoa.
Let me see if I remember this. Kia ora koutou katoa.
Kia ora, Danny.
Before I ask you the official question of the interview, you've been here for about a week now, or a little more. What have you enjoyed most about American Samoa since you've been here?
Thank you for that question, Danny. This whole week has been like a dream. It's been mind-blowing. I'm so honored to be in the position where I can go and have an influence in people. Going to the Hope Centre on Tuesday, which is a home for the elderly and those with disabilities, was a place that was close to my heart. It was amazing to meet those people and to read to the children. It's been amazing to meet with the team, our sponsors, McDonald's, the CEO and the team there were really amazing. And the Blue Sky team, they were awesome as well. This whole week has been really amazing. I'd like to thank, on behalf of Aotearoa, your hospitality, American Samoa, has been amazing. It's not easy to come to a place far away from home, but I felt right at home here. And I'd just like to take this opportunity. My most favorite thing about this whole trip has been meeting everyone. I mean, talking to you, Danny, meeting everyone. Just sharing time with everyone, meeting all the beautiful teams from the Pacific. All the girls are amazing. Spending time with the community at the float parade, talking to the chaperones. By Helen, my chaperone, she's been absolutely amazing. And credit to the team at Aotearoa. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Talking right down to the cleaners at the motel, the people at the restaurant staff. I'd just like to say a huge, sincere thank you for giving me your time. Kia ora.
Now, this is the real question.
Please do open it for him, Ms. Aotearoa.
Yes, some of us have a hard time doing things like that. Thank you. This is the question we have for you. Tourism is one of the Pacific's biggest and most competitive business industries. What do you think is the Pacific's single unique selling point compared to the rest of the world, and why?
That's easy, Danny. For tourism, what's important about tourism in the Pacific, it's essentially our culture. We as people are unique. Each and every one of us, the beautiful islands, we have our own traditions, language and cultures, heritage that's unique to us as individuals. That being able to share that in a tourism industry is just an amazing gift to be able to share with someone part of who you are. So that's one thing to do with tourism in the Pacific that I think is really amazing, is being able to share part of your culture, because each of us are unique. We are all one people. So yes, thank you for that question.
Miss Aotearoa, ladies and gentlemen. Kia ora.
Please welcome on stage contestant number 8 for her interview, Miss Solomon Islands.
The Solomon Islands is like Papua New Guinea. They have hundreds of different dialects and languages. So I'm not going to even try to say hello in your language. I'll let you do it.
Hello, all Ketawantoks.
That almost sounded English. But you've been here for about a week now. Could you tell everyone how you've enjoyed yourself since you've been to American Samoa?
Thank you. Since day one, the experience has been so wonderful. Everyone has been so nice. The hospitality is great. All my contestants, my fellow contestants, are nothing but wonderful. We've been so good to each other, supporting each other, and that's just the beauty of it, seeing all of our sisters from the different Pacific regions coming together and being united as one and just having a good time in it as well. It's just wonderful. Thank you.
Sport plays a major part in our Pacific lives, whether at a village, national, or international level. And the Pacific is known for its big football players. If you are crowned the Miss South Pacific tonight, what would you do to encourage more young people to look at other sports, and why those sports?
Thank you. What you said about football was right. Pacific Islanders are known to be really athletic because we keep fit doing our daily chores just by running to where we need to go, or doing things like husking coconuts build up our muscles as well. Sports is really good because it unites everyone, and especially the youths. It unites them in a way that it distracts them from doing other different activities, negative activities. And we should encourage sports in our communities, at school, everywhere we go. And not just football, but other sports as well. We could do that. If I was crowned Miss South Pacific, I would go out and arrange different youths, especially in different sport tournaments, and go out and create these tournaments and encourage other people to join as well, in a way that they will enjoy themselves. And maybe this will encourage them to not only play football, but other sports as well. And maybe with this opportunity, we could offer scholarships in these sports to attract them so that they could come and enjoy themselves, and at the same time go overseas and travel and get educated at the same time. Thank you.
Miss Solomon Islands, ladies and gentlemen.
Please welcome contestant number 9 for her interview, Miss American Samoa.
Talofa, Ariel.
Talofa.
You've had a different role from all your other sister contestants in this pageant, in that you've played the host. How has that been for the past week?
It's an awesome opportunity to host in the beautiful country of American Samoa and just take them around and share with them that American Samoa isn't just mountains and land. You know, we're America. We have part of America with us, and so they were amazed because they kept saying, we're actually in America.
All right, for our official question, you can pick one from the bowl. You want me to bring, let me get it for you. See?
Can you pick it for me?
No, you go ahead and pick it. All right. And if you could please open it for me. I won't tell you why. This is the question, Ariel. The Pacific is often regarded as the last unspoiled natural environment in the world. If you are chosen as Miss South Pacific tonight, what would you do to ensure that we keep our region this way?
Repeat that question one more time.
Sure. The Pacific is often regarded as the last unspoiled natural environment in the world. If you are chosen as Miss South Pacific tonight, what would you do to ensure that we keep our region this way?
Thank you for the question. If I were to become Miss South Pacific and to ensure that our environment would stay untouchable, it would start from starting within your country. Do not despise the days of small beginnings. You cannot wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to conquer the world today, right now. You have to start within your community. Just like ASPA and American Samoa. They started a program where they can collect, recycle, so that when you bring it all in, it discounts on your bills. So, if I were to become Miss South Pacific, one thing I would promote is to keep your country clean. Go out and be with the community. Pick up trash with them. One thing people like is for you to get involved, not just stand in front of a commercial and say, keep our country clean. No. Get out, get in within your community, start a program, so that way, as people of the Pacific, we come together as one to keep our countries clean, our environment sacred, and our cultures forever. Thank you for the question.
Miss American Samoa, ladies and gentlemen, Tokelau.
And finally, welcome to the stage for her interview question, contestant number 10, Miss Samoa.
Talofa, Miss Samoa.
Malo soy forma.
You've been here, what, about a week now? And you're representing Samoa, which is right across the water. What's different about American Samoa and Samoa that you've seen?
There's not that much difference between our neighboring island of American Samoa and my beautiful land of Samoa. The culture over here that is embraced, it's mindful to see. It's so beautiful that our people of Samoa still practice this, and the environment is still the same, it's still beautiful. And I think it's such a wonderful thing that even though we are separated, we're still one at heart, also with our environment and our culture. Thank you.
This is our question for you. The Pacific Islands rely heavily on trade for economic survival. But for many of our countries, we import more than we export. If crowned Miss South Pacific, what would you do to encourage a stronger export market, and how would you do this?
Can you please repeat the question?
The Pacific Islands rely heavily on trade for economic survival. But for many of our countries, we import more than we export. If crowned Miss South Pacific, what would you do to encourage stronger export markets, and how would you do this?
Like mentioned, trade is one of the key objectives for economic stability within our country, within our region, and within our islands. I believe it is crucial and pivotal for us to accept export, however, not at the expense of our culture. We need to maintain what makes us special and what makes us unique. Our environment and our culture, this is what sets us apart from other nations in the world. And we are the guardians of our own little piece of that world, and we must maintain and protect this. It is crucial and pivotal for us to receive export. It is because this presents opportunities for jobs and income, and it helps improve our economic and social development. Not only this, but I believe that export helps our people develop, and we must be aware of this. And if I were to be crowned Miss South Pacific, I would educate myself with the export within this industry, with people who would help, and also our government bodies who work alongside export and trade. Thank you.
Miss Samoa, ladies and gentlemen, Faftetele.
How about a hand for Whangapanga? At this time, it is my pleasure now to introduce to you our reigning Miss South Pacific, Miss Alisi. Miss Alisi Rabukawaka.
Bulavinaka and greetings in the many languages of the South Pacific. It has been an honor and a privilege to not only represent my homeland Fiji, but also the South Pacific as Miss South Pacific in the year 2012. This journey for me began way before the Miss South Pacific pageant, way before the Miss Hibiscus pageant, which crowns the young woman who then represents Fiji to the Miss South Pacific pageant. I was first presented with the opportunity to be an ambassador for my country when I was one of 10 youths chosen from Fiji for the 23rd Ship for the World Youth Program. It is an annual Japanese-funded program that allowed us to travel not only to Japan, but travel down the Pacific through the Solomon Islands, Fiji, Vanuatu, and Australia, along with participants from 11 other nations. This experience reaffirmed my love and pride for my culture and traditions, my passion for the environment, and also the realization that for us, we are not separated by the vast Pacific Ocean, but rather it is the bridge that unites us all. When we returned after 2 months away, something in us had shifted. Our spirit was stirred. We could no longer be silent observers, taking a back seat and waiting for someone else to do that stuff. The experience was one that had to be shared, and the Hibiscus platform provided that ideal opportunity. It was a joy, a pleasant surprise at that, to be selected as Miss Hibiscus and to represent Fiji at the Miss South Pacific Pageant in December 2012. I was thrilled at the thought of meeting talented and intelligent young women from across the South Pacific who were there to not only share about their unique cultures, but also to call out to peers, communities, and leaders to speak out and take action together on issues affecting us as a region. To be crowned Miss South Pacific was a great honor and a daunting task, as I had 8 young women who set the bar for me in Apia, and a remarkable history of Miss South Pacific winners who had left big shoes to fill. I returned home with a renewed sense of purpose, and I set about involving myself in projects that I was passionate about. There was the Spina Dolphin Project with the South Pacific Projects and Whale and Dolphin Conservation Society in Natalera, Tailevu, Fiji. The Shark Conservation Program with Coral Reef Alliance. Furthering my education at the University of the South Pacific, studying conservation and biodiversity during my postgraduate. And the most exciting was sailing on the traditional Fijian canoe, the Utonialo, from Fiji to Vanuatu, and then to the Solomon Islands for the Festival of Pacific Arts, alongside 6 other Vakandrua, with sailors from all around the Pacific carrying the message of Te Amana or Te Moana, the spirit of the ocean. All the amazing projects that I became a part of in 2011 to 2012 would not have been possible if not for the exposure and opportunity that came about from being Miss Hibiscus and Miss South Pacific. For that, I thank the Hibiscus Events Group Incorporated and the Samoa Tourism Association, who are the holders of the Miss South Pacific Pageant franchise. Revisiting Samoa for the Miss Samoa Pageant and traveling all the way to PNG as well, and even hosting morning tea for the South Pacific Tourism Organization at the Mbula Fiji Tourism Awards in Nandi, Fiji. These were all other experiences that I got to experience being Miss South Pacific. Staying grounded was necessary, and I thank my closest friends for being that jolt of reality when I needed it. Love, support, understanding, and complete honesty were things my family always had in great quantity for me, and I could not get out of bed to face each day if they were not there, and I cannot thank them enough. Finally, and most importantly, I thank God for His abundant blessings, and I acknowledge His guiding hand through this incredible journey. To this year's Miss South Pacific Pageant contestants, I wish you all the very best in your endeavors. I encourage you to stand firm in your convictions, fully utilize this occasion to build your characters, values, and beliefs, foster friendships that last a lifetime, and use this platform to spread the message of this year's pageant, Treasures of the Pacific. In closing, I would like to wish the organizers, the sponsors, and members of the public an enjoyable and successful Miss South Pacific Pageant experience in Pango Pango, American Samoa. May God continue to guide and bless us all. Vinaka Vakalevu.
Our reigning Miss South Pacific, Alisi Rambukawanga, will now walk down the runway for the last time to say farewell as Miss South Pacific. Thank you, Alisi, and we wish you well.